Hello friends, myself Dr. Harish, working as Principal, Khalsa College of Veterinary and Animal Sciences, Amritsar. Well, today we'll be talking about a very important topic, that's reproduction. Because reproduction is very important to the society, to the farmers and everybody. So exact topic is reproduction with production in animals. Reproduction literally means to reproduce, to produce. It can be asexual or it can be bisexual or sexual. Asexual, that means genetic material from one individual can produce identical offspring. It can be, we can say, just like xeroxing, cloning. And it can happen through fission, parthenogenesis, budding, fragmentation. That is asexual. Another is the sexual. That means genetic material from two individuals produce the diverse genetic offspring. And it happens through, either it can happen through mating, copulation, or we can do through artificial insemination. Interestingly, the reproduction in animals is totally different. Reproduction in animals is not like the human beings or the Homo sapiens, where a simple attraction can lead into reproduction. But over here in animals, a female animal, or we can say a cow or a buffalo or a female goat or a female dog, that is bitch, cannot accept its partner every time. It accepts its partner in a very definite or defined time, that is called heat or estrus. At that time, the symptoms, behaviors, or the chemicals that are produced by the female animal, that are known as pheromones, and that attracts the male towards the female. So then and then the reproduction will happen. So in animals, the reproduction is totally different than Homo sapiens or the human being. But reproduction is very important for the farmers. Farmers, dairy farmers, livestock farmers. Without reproduction, there can be no production. So without calf, no milk. That's why it said, no calf, no milk. Likewise, we say, no farmers, no food. So similarly, no calf, no milk. So we must understand, the farmers must understand that. So reproduction has to happen. Then and then the milk will come. Milk will come for the calf, not for the masses or not for the Homo sapiens. So for reproduction to happen, we have to manage the animals in a such way they are able to reproduce. Although the scientists, through their knowledge, whatever research they are doing, they can get the milk from the animals without calving. Without a calf, we can get the milk from the animals, from an adult animal, mature animal, where the udder is fully developed, uterus is developed. We can get the milk. The scientists can get the milk by administering, by giving hormones at a particular dose through a protocol. Milk will come definitely, that's okay. Of course, the 100% to the capacity of the animal will not get the milk. But the main problem is from where the replacement animal, the future will come, the future animals will come. So animal has to reproduce to provide the milk to the society. Another thing, we must understand the mother, maybe cow, maybe buffalo, maybe camel, they are producing the milk for their calf, not for the masses. But interestingly, what has happened, science over the period of time, due to selection of the excellent germplasm, the animal having good dairy characters, selection has been done, and due to many years, the animals are now producing enormous milk. And the world record is, a cow has produced more than 100 liters of milk in 24 hours. That's a record. And our Indian record is The Punjab cow has produced, a crossbred cow has produced more than 74 liters. So we are competing with the world level. So the Punjab state animals are, productivity is maximum, whether we talk of cattle, crossbred cattle, or the indigenous cattle, or the buffaloes. Our productivity is maximum in the country. So when such amount of milk is produced, that cannot be consumed by a calf. So ultimately, then and then we get the milk. So the science, the selection, the criteria, on that basis the dairy characters have been increased, have been enhanced, we are getting the milk. So we say India is number one in milk production. We say, but it is a universal truth. Globally, India is number one in milk production. India is producing around 200 million tons of milk annually. And the major states which are contributing, that's Uttar Pradesh. 18% of the milk is contributed by UP. Or we can say 56 million tons. Then comes the Rajasthan, 11%. Then comes the Andhra Pradesh. Then comes the Gujarat, 8%. And at fifth number is Punjab, 7%. That means around 14 million tons of milk is produced by Punjab state. But interestingly, our animals, whether we talk of buffaloes, cows, crossbred, or indigenous, they are maximum producer. Their average productivity is maximum in the country. But interestingly, the 7% of the milk is produced by around 2% animals population. We are having only 65 lakh of large animals, the cattle and buffaloes. Buffalo is our main animal. That's 40 lakh buffaloes we are having. In earlier census, it was more than 50 lakh. But the number of animals have reduced, but the productivity has increased. That's a very interesting statistics. However, the cattle, we are having around 25 lakh of cattle. So, another important point regarding Punjab is the per capita milk availability to every person is 1200 gram, more than 1 liter. So that means the WHO says you have to consume around 300 gram of milk in a 24 hour. That means our state, Punjab state, is a milk surplus state. That's why the milk is going to the neighboring states, to the neighboring union territories, and that's why the milk is being made available to them, and the farmers are making money. So, but still we see on the road stray animals. That's a very stressing point. That's a challenge for the veterinarians. That's a challenge for the farmers, for the veterinarians, farmers, everybody. That looks very bad. The stray animals are there on the road, and that leads to many accidents, filthy things, spread of disease. Many things happen. But we must understand the basic tips regarding reproduction. We must know the reproduction is not mandatory for the life of the animal. If it would have been mandatory, there would have been no stray animals on the road. For animal to survive, there should be normal feeding, normal defecation, normal urination, normal heart pumping, normal respiration. But reproduction is not mandatory. But on the other side, because our farmers are rearing the animals not for agriculture purpose, because there has been a lot of mechanization, lot of machines are there to help doing the agriculture, to produce the agriculture crops. So we keep the animals for profitable or of this nutrition security. So that means the animals have to reproduce, and the reproduction is not mandatory. So we have to manage the animals in such a way they are able to reproduce. So I say reproduction is a luxury because it is not mandatory for the life of the animal. It's a luxury. I can explain it with an example. If I have got enough money, I can go for a car. I can purchase a car. Otherwise, I can survive by foot, on a cycle, or a scooter, or any bike. I can do my office work or can go to office. But still, I purchase car because I have enough money. And in emergency, I can sell that car. So reproduction is like that. I compare it with the reproduction. It's a luxury thing. We have to maintain it. luxury things requires maintenance. So if we want reproduction, if the farmers want reproduction, they have to manage the animal in such a way that they are forced to do the reproduction. They are forced to do the reproduction through depicting the behavior signs. How the farmer will catch the animal, can go for reproduction. The animal, after attaining the body weight, maturity, puberty, they will be depicting the estrus signs, and that estrus signs comes from the uterus. So when animal is normal, there is no disease, no stress, no trauma, animal is comfortable, then and then the animal will show the heat signs, and on the basis of that signs, the farmer can go for either for artificial insemination or natural mating of the animal. So I always say our farmers are at a disadvantage, especially the cattle farmers, because globally, if we say 15 to 20% of the income comes from the one-way ticket. That's the animal goes and that is packed. And in under Indian condition, that cannot happen. So we have to manage, our farmers have to manage, especially the cattle, the crossbred cattle or the indigenous cattle, in a such a way that the animals there should not be any conception failure, there should not be any reproduction failure, and the animal should not become repeater. So over there, the management of the animals has to be very excellent, and that's why we always say, if you can manage the animal, your management is excellent, then you can go for the crossbred rearing of the animals. If there is any management is compromised, then the buffaloes are the best. So reproduction is just like luxury. We have to keep the animals stress free, trauma free. Even the seasonal management, crossbred animals in summer season, what happens? There is temperature rise. And along with there is humidity, and that is a stressing factor on these animals. I say these are अंग्रेज जानवर मैं तो इन्होंने कहना. These are because it's a germplasm from those countries where temperature is very low, but under Indian conditions there is lot of variation, there is lot of stress on the animals. So that due to that stress, the stress hormones come into play, and that hinder the reproduction. Yes, and also for the buffaloes, we say buffalo is a seasonal breeder. In summer season, it does not breed. But I say buffalo is not a seasonal breeder. It's around the year we can have the reproduction from the buffalo, but we have to manage them. Over there, here the management is important. We have to detect the animals into heat. In summer season, in early morning, the buffaloes come into heat at early 3 or 4 or 5 a.m. And the duration of heat and the intensity of heat is also limited for a shorter duration. At that time, no farmer is going to detect the heat, or he is not keeping the record. If you are keeping the record in the early morning, whenever the farmer goes to visit the stable or the farm at 6 or 7, he can look for the mucus discharge at the floor or at the tail, and then immediately go for the artificial insemination. And along with that, if the farmer is keeping a diary or a record, then he can check these animals can be in heat, and then we can manage. But that is not there. By the time we go, the heat has passed, and we brand the animal as a seasonal breeder. That's not true, because buffalo is a black colored animal. It's a lot of fat, and there is sweating is very, very less. So there is a lot of stress. That's why it goes into the ponds. Gayi Majh Tobbech, because it absorbs a lot of energy, heat from the environment. It's a black color, just like cooking. We are cooking on the tawa. That is black colors. It absorbs energy. So we have to manage. By managing, we can get the reproduction from the buffaloes. So that is very, very important. So there are many aids available in the market to detect the heat, and heat is the basic important thing. If we detect the heat, then we can go for the artificial insemination. But I suggest to our fellow friends, there is no need to spending on detection of heat. You have to simply, we can manage the things like that. Whatever animal attendant or herdman we are keeping, we can incentivize him. We can say, okay, we'll be paying you 50 rupees extra, you detect an animal into heat. If he detects the 4 animals into heat, that means you are paying 200 rupees. But By if that 4 animals go into artificial insemination or mating and 2 conceives, you saved 20,000 rupees, because missing one heat is the farmer is losing 9 to 10,000 rupees. We say, or a doctor says, it's a repeat repeater. That means 3 times it has not settled. That means 30,000 loss has already been there. If the cost of the animal is 60,000, 30,000 has been lost because it has been declared a repeater. So that means what is the fun of keeping that animal? That's why those animals are ditched on the road, becomes as a stray, because they are not fertile, they are not conceiving, they are repeating again and again, and farmer cannot compromise. He cannot spend because that animal is not giving milk, that is not giving calf. So that's a trouble to the farmers. So we can incentivize the attendants by providing him, by telling him, you have to detect the animal, and additionally you will be getting 50 rupees. So all the time he'll be looking the animals and detecting the animals into heat. So we have to the farmers, the message is very loud and clear. You have to detect the animal into heat, and for detection we have to incentivize the animal attendants. Along with, we have to manage, we have to provide the good nutrition, and we have to do the nutritional management and keeping the record. Everything should be recorded. Then and then we can get the reproduction. Otherwise, reproduction is a mandatory, and it's is not mandatory. It's a luxury thing, and we have to manage. Then and then the dairy farming, the wheel of dairy farming will move in further direction, in the positive direction, and the farmer will be making money or the bucks for getting its better socio-economic status. Thank you.